Arsenal are out here breaking records in the Champions League. At a time where people are wondering where the goals are going to come from, Arsenal score 7 past PSV and become the team with the highest amount of away goals in a knockout fixture of the Champions League, the most of all time. And yet I still see people out there trying to put a negative on it. I see people crying, saying Lewis Skelly should have been sent off. I can't believe Lewis Skelly wasn't given a second yellow card. And all I can think of is he definitely should have had a yellow card. He's definitely got away with one, but I'll take it. Arsenal don't usually get these, like the rub of the green on these types of decisions. So if there's any more going before the end of the season, I'll take it. I'm so glad with that result. There's so many things to touch on about the game. I also want to speak about Mikel Arteta as well. Before we get into it though, very quickly, if you could, please just hit like on this video. So I usually give people a shout out who was able to get the correct scoreline. But of course, no one was able to guess that Arsenal would score 7 goals against PSV in the Champions League. So I'm going to leave you with a question, and it just is, who was your man of the match? I'm seeing a few different suggestions out there from people, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on who you thought was the man of the match. So let me know in the comment section. Look, what did I think of that? I mean, it's just so good. Like I said, it's at the minute, Arsenal are scratching around for goals. We're kind of thinking, where are the goals going to come from? Mikel Arteta made a great choice in wanting to play Mikel Merino up front. We saw it against Leicester and it was effective. We've seen it since then, and it's maybe been slightly less effective. People were expecting a change for the Champions League game. He stuck to his guns and he stuck Merino up there again, and it paid off, I thought. Look, I thought Merino done well, certainly for his goal. The way he took it, look, it was fortunate in terms of the PSV defending, but, I mean, the way he struck that with his left foot, the technique to whip it round, very, very nice goal. All of the goals were so good. Of course, look, my favourite one was probably the Nwaneri one, because it was Lewis Skelly linking up with Ethan Nwaneri, and just the way he blasts that into the top corner. This is a special, special player who's getting recognition from some of the top pundits and influencers and journos. Like, everyone knows this kid's going to be special. But it just wasn't Ethan Nwaneri that is deserving of a shout-out. There were so many players that definitely stood up to the task. We saw it last season with our first year back in the Champions League. Some of the players struggled, especially defensively. They was a bit shaky at the back. You think of the Porto game. You think of other games as well in the Champions League. But it seems like we've settled into the Champions League this season, that we don't seem to be playing with those same type of nerves. Like last season, we were so good in the league, and then you would play a Champions League game, and all of a sudden, it would seem like the form goes out of the window. But we didn't really see that this season at all. To stick 7 goals past PSV, you've secured your position in the next round of the knockout stages of the Champions League. Like, we're going to play either Atletico or Real Madrid. Let me know who you guys want to play in the next round. Would you rather play Atletico or Real Madrid? People know my frame of mind is I want to play the best teams. That's Real Madrid. Give me Real Madrid. Imagine being a team to knock out Real Madrid. But let me know who you guys would want to play. Look, there's a few talking points from the game that I want to go through before we speak about Mikel Arteta. And like the first one was like Timber's goal. Like, so good. Like Declan Rice. I mean, he was on fire. And I think for the man of the match award, I was kind of stuck between Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. In the end, I probably edged slightly towards Martin Odegaard. But both of those central midfield performances were something we've lacked this season. You know, where you just need your midfield to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and just drag you through. Like, those performances were some of the best I've seen this season from both of those guys. Martin Odegaard, obviously brilliant that he got his 2 goals. But Declan Rice shouldn't go under the radar for the role that he played in this game. The way he was setting like his assists, just his overall play. Like, that's the kind of performance you look at, and you can understand why Arsenal paid over 100 million for this player, because his attributes are scary at times. And when Declan Rice is playing like that, he's definitely amongst some of the best midfielders in the world. Martin Odegaard as well. The way he was driving, it just wasn't the way he was driving with the ball though, and the way he was so comfortable and fluid when he was on the ball. The assist, like playing people through, like the way he leads the press as well. Like, he's such a hard worker. When you get like a technical player like Martin Odegaard, a guy who's got flair and he's so He's just brilliant to watch when he's on the ball. They rarely have that kind of work rate, that hunger, that desire. Martin Odegaard's got it. So to people who were ever doubting Martin Odegaard, I'm just like, why would you? Like, he's too good of a player for people to doubt him. I even saw some Arsenal fans coming in and saying, like, he's not good enough this season. And I think you can say that he's not been good enough this season. But when it starts to get to the point where they're like, I think we need to sell Martin Odegaard, strip him of the captaincy. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I wouldn't do that personally. I think, look, he can be so good. He's so effective at times. And this was the type of performance that you look at and you say, that was a captain's performance. So to the people that maybe said we need to strip him of the captaincy, I would say he is capable of these type of performances, although I would agree we need to see more of these. But he did come out after the game and actually acknowledge the fact that he's not been as good this season as he would like to have been. So hopefully this is the start of Martin Odegaard really coming to life and, you know, starting to print his way of play on this Arsenal team, which is something we saw for a lot of last season. And then we had the Lewis Skelly and Nwaneri goal, which was just brilliant. I think that was another record broke where it's two English teenagers linking up to score in the Champions League. Brilliant. The Merino goal, the Partey penalty. I think this is a bit of a contentious decision. It doesn't really affect the game much now, but like, to me, it just wasn't really a penalty. Like, I'm not crying over spilled milk now, but like, Partey was being fouled as he brought the guy down. So I mean, if you're calling a penalty, then you probably have to call a foul on Partey. But in the end, it didn't really matter. And that was just the first half. Arsenal were more dominant in the second half. But even going into the like half time, I was thinking this is good because the result could have been slightly different if we're being honest. If who was it that had the chance right at the end, the header? If that chance went in and it goes in at 3-2, that is a totally different game. As soon as we come out for the second half, I was kind of like, right, we need to score early doors here. We need to go out there and get an early goal just to confirm this fixture is over and done with. And then basically straight away, you had the other goals. The Trossard finish as well was brilliant. I'm not hearing many people talk about that finish. He does have those kind of moves in the locker. Like, he's so quick with his thinking. A lot of people would have just struck that left foot and just laced it. But he goes for the little dink with the right foot. Brilliant finish. And now we're just on the countdown to the game against United. It probably comes at the perfect time. Look, United is always a difficult game. It's never going to be easy, but they're rubbish at the minute. Like, you can never go into a game against Man United and say this is an easy 3 points. And I'm still not going to go into this game with that frame of mind, but I'm definitely looking at it and saying if we drop points in that game, then we may as well just pack up, go home and forget about it, because we shouldn't be dropping points to this Man United team. They're just not good enough. We need to, in terms of the title race, it's very difficult to still try and talk about Arsenal being in the title race. Like I've always said, I will never give up until it's practically impossible. It's very, very difficult. I wouldn't even sit here and try and convince you guys that Arsenal are still in the title race. It would take for Liverpool to drop, I don't know, if they, in the next 3 games, if they lose one and draw one and then they're maybe getting a bit wobbly, we can start to have a conversation again to how maybe Arsenal are in the title race. But we've got a couple of difficult games coming up. We got Man United. Like I said, they're rubbish, but it's still a difficult game. And then you got Chelsea after that. Again, a team that is performing probably as they should be with the level of players they have. So Arsenal have got a couple of games that we just need to focus on ourselves. Get your head down. Don't look at Liverpool like in terms of trying to catch them. Just try and win your next game. Hopefully Liverpool drop points, but that will take care of itself. It's either going to happen or it's not. So all we can do is focus on what we're doing. A lot of people are trying to say that Arsenal are now in a top 4 race. No, they're not. They're just comfortably the second best team in the league at the minute. And we need to beat teams like Man United and Chelsea for it to stay that way. If Arsenal get dragged into a top 4 race, that would be terrible, because as we saw last night, we are more than capable of scoring goals. A lot of us have been wondering where the goals are going to come from, and a performance like that shows you that when Arsenal are playing with confidence, when everyone is on beat, we are more than capable of scoring goals. And now it's just up to us to do it against teams that are going to have a mid-block or a low block. That's something we do need to sort out. Hopefully Mikel Arteta and the coaching team's on it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. Who was your man of the match? What's your thoughts on the United game? I'm, of course, going to be doing a breakdown video in the run-up to that game, so make sure you're subscribed. And yeah, thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could do me a favour, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.